Okay, so of the devil. Yeah, that's what we're playing. It's of the devil. Don't know what to tell you, really. I've played this game before. I really like it. I think it's really good, and I'll be playing it again because why not? And I really like it, and I want to try and do voices for the characters and stuff. And who knows? Maybe I forgot how it goes. I'll start with episode 0. I have all the bonuses as well, I think. I would hope. I don't know. But yeah, let's just get into it, I suppose. Did we do this by new case? I've already wished this episode 2. And so should you. Okay. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Yeah. Love both of the episodes. I'm so excited to be playing it again. Oh, I feel like I'm kind of loud. Is that no? Hello Emma. I feel like the background volume is really loud for some reason. Is this better? Is it too not loud enough now? I can't check anymore. How are we on? I think I'm fine, right? Why are the sound effects really loud? Okay, that's a lot better. Is it loud? I really can't check anymore, so let's just get into it. The UI. Okay. Rain sizzles off neon above me. The summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street. And a slight blunting of this night's ambiance. Emphasis on slight. Lights, cameras, and constant noise. This city's got insomnia, with the uneven heart rate to prove it. There's no escaping the second-hand nervous energy of it all, and I'm plenty acclimated. Just a wave of worries cresting on the surface while I hold my breath deep below. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. Because if I'm not careful, this client of mine's gonna die in jail. Morgan, Esquire. Criminal attorney. Punctuation is important, guys. It's hard to get away with murder these days. People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper. But by the time they're in cuffs, there's hardly any shadows of doubt left. Because this whole world's lit up, mapped out, never unknown, and always online. Whether it's incandescent or neon or holo, whether it's LCD, LED, or just the nearest phone screen, there's light shining on every last pixel of the map. And someone's always watching. Solitude's a rarity, anonymity is scarce. And criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. So you take whatever clients you can get. You don't balk at public defender work, no matter the hour. And should you find yourself in one of the last dark, quiet corners left in the whole world, well, smoke 'em if you got 'em. Not that there's much else I can do until... My phone? State system. Counselor, your public defender contract has been approved. ... You are expected at the 254th Precinct. Present your ID at the door to enter. Arrive at least 15 minutes early. But you didn't even give me a time. I'll try. Less than 3. Looks like the paperwork came through. It's nearly 3:15 now. 90 minutes since I took the job. Probably makes it about 2 hours since they finally got smart enough to ask for a lawyer. If they're really smart, they'll have used that time to get some rest. because now that I'm here, things are going to get busy. Of the Devil, Episode 0. And he shall appear. Disable tutorials? You can turn them back on in the settings. Well, technically I've already played this game. Do I need tutorials? No. I don't need tutorials, I've already done this shit. Let's go. Let's go. Please load. I'm playing this on a laptop, not a PC or whatever, but we'll be fine. Suspect, hashtag not found. Precinct 254. It's a goddamn ghost town. With nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party. Ooh, we got hologram as a search term, did we? Hologram, noun, a 3D image formed by light. Enabled by specialized projectors of mediums like conductive resin, holograms are graphic displays that appear three-dimensional to the human eye when viewed from any part of a face range. We know this. Uncuriously, universe is born. We're sorry that you're We're sorry to see that you've installed a subroutine on this device to disable and highlight our recommended premium external links. We understand your drive for personalization, but unauthorized tech impacts our ability to serve you best and the most relevant information possible. Considering I can't speak. Consider disabling your subroutine so we can serve you a more tailored browsing experience. Yay! The future. Or now, even. This happens already. Unfortunately, I won't read all the tidbits, but they're cool. And I've read them, and so should you. This is free, guys. Play it. With nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party. I'm here about a homicide. High clearance rates be damned. You think they'd treat it with a little more gravitas. But whatever. If I'm that unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time getting checked in. And I should take my time. Information's like cash in my line of work. You gotta spend it to make it. And if you're flat broke, no one will give a shit what you have to say. So let's see if I can poke around and shake some change loose. Ooh, string not found. Examine. No, let's check out other stuff, like this beautiful table. High traffic hallways, utilitarian furnishing, multiple screening stations. Pragmatic brutalism so textbook I could teach a freshman level architecture. Ooh, sorry about that. Can almost hear the building drone on and on. Shut up, my computer. You can almost hear the building drone on and on about concrete and iron and hard right angles. The civil planning equivalents of battle scars. From a fight won so long ago that they're starting to look ridiculous. I'm sure it was all very imposing back when it was built. But walking in here now, with crime rates where they are, feels like a hospice ward for heavy-handedness. I'm going to check the volume for a second. Okay, let's read the news. A datapad? I'll bite. Even when they're more advertisement than article, they can still be informative. In a flowery, roundabout, corporate propaganda sort of way. Subway fixers asked city to refocus on canopy. Declaring the subway tunnels to be irreparably flooded, city engineers announced this week that all plans to drain and repair the system were being suspended indefinitely. Saltwater damage to sensitive electronic cabling and erosion of key tunnel fixtures were cited as reasons for why 89% of the subway system was evaluated as critically compromised or worse. Civil engineering efforts will be refocused on maintenance and expansion of the hybrid super infrastructure system that weaves together trams, highways, walkways and skyscrapers into the canopy, high above our city streets. Reactions to the announcement could be characterized as blasé. It's been years since the subways last ran, and decades since they last ran on schedule. Most citizens have long since given up hope on them ever making a comeback. Online chatter barely reacted to the announcement, with most commenters and voters' attention focused instead on the growing investigations into Councilman Long's campaign finance irregularities. English is not my native tongue. I can't do this. No, I like it. As one of the Canopy's major backers in City Hall, Long has often found himself at odds with a small but vocal group of critics that consider it to be an eyesore and an amplifier of light and noise pollution. And with Long having stepped away from his political duties in order to more fully cooperate with investigators, for the first time in nearly 20 years, the typically rock-steady political foundation of the Canopy was looking uncharacteristically shaky going into this week. But with the subways now officially no longer an option, people and corporations alike have little choice for how they complete their morning commute. Okay. Yes, I know. People are denying global warming even 50 years in the future. So. Tragic. Ballsy of them putting the paywall there. As if I'd reach for my wallet after having read a word like aesthetical. Besides, I got the gist of it. The takeaway is that the city will be focusing its efforts on the Canopy. There'll be increased scrutiny surrounding the Canopy now that there's no plan B. It's a massive project with a massive budget. Lines the pockets of a lot of people, big and small. None of them would appreciate bad press at the moment. Not when Councilman Long's already thoroughly chummed the waters. What else do we have? Observe. An actual police lineup. It's like I walked into a museum. The museums tend to feel expensive and clean. Dusty, forgotten, probably lots of unpacked boxes. This homicides department's more like an attic. Hard to believe they were ever so busy that they had witnesses making IDs in the lobby. And again, it's hard to believe they were ever doing lineups in the first place. Are you certain? Wasn't it dark? Did you know that during traumatic events, memory formation is blah blah blah? Poking holes in that setup must have been like shooting fish in a barrel, enduring billable hours. But there's no room to sow doubt anymore. Not when a modded witness can just submit their testimony as a video recording. Assuming their phone didn't automatically file a police report for them. Ooh, the future. What's privacy? That's not real. The desk. The medium's cracked in the corner. Looks bad, but my phone's made of the same stuff, conductor resin, and I'm rolling the dice every time it falls off the sofa. Could probably null the warranty on one of these with a loud sneeze. At least it's not broken. Entirely. Excuse me. Even at this hour, it's still dutifully scrolling through its notifications. Looks like the usual 1-to-1 ratio of public health alerts and inoffensive pop culture trivia you always get served at state buildings. If you're experiencing an emergency, please use our universal contact number at string not found. Tragic. But there's a few missing persons too. This desk is programmed for check-in and information only. If you are experiencing an emergency, please use our 1 year of silver plan coverage, courtesy of Caduceus, as a reward for any. Silver's no joke. Family must be getting desperate. Alright, I've taken in all the scenery and learned as much as I can here. Time to get checked in. It booted up fine. So far so good. Hello, desk! Good morning. Morgan, here for the public defender contract. Let's check out Morgan's profile. Morgan, date of birth, December 26th, 1 day before me. How lovely. Height 175, way taller than me. Weight unknown, good. Why, we do not need to know. Blood type AB-. Nice. Occupation, criminal defense attorney. Likes puzzle smoking, wooden furniture, commercials, hairdressers, jogging. Can fall asleep in any position. Coffee, decaf, and drink whiskey sour. Great. Morgan, here for the public defender contract. Could you please provide your name and... Great. Please stand still for a moment. I wouldn't call intake holos charming. More like harmless. But that's probably what the designers were aiming for. People don't mind a quirk or two in their tech, so long as it never speaks out of turn. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble placing you. Could you please provide your name and date of birth? So far so good, was it? Okay, I've done scan my card before when I played this, so I'm just curious what would happen if I say, didn't you scan my face as soon as I walked in here? Yes. So don't you already know who I am? Yes. So the only reason you're asking is to see if I'll lie? Impersonating an officer of the court is a felony. Thank you for remaining vigilant. Say, why don't you just scan my ID card? Great! Now, could you just confirm your date of birth for me? Why do they even bother asking? My birthday's on the damned ID card. And my profile. I'd have to be a world-class airhead to get this question wrong. That's why you check the profile, guys. No problem. My birthday's December 26th. Perfect. Good morning, Morgan Counselor. Thank you for your timely arrival and for taking on this public defender contract. If you're ready to speak to your client, you can proceed to Counseling Quarter 3C. Is that what we're calling it now? You mean the interrogation room? I'm sorry to have caused any confusion. My vocabulary is regularly updated to better reflect state standards. Don't sweat it. I can't keep track of every new euphemism either. They could call it the involuntary wellness check room if they like. Doesn't change the way it makes a person feel, sitting in a stifled box of one-way panels. Nothing to see but their own affection dully warped across gunmetal walls. Morgan Counselor, can I help you with anything else? Let's ask our questions. What are you? Oh, wait, I didn't ask that. I'm asking it now. What are you? I'm a smart user interface, proudly sold by Noble Electronics. Thank you for asking. If you're interested, I can send you a link with information about our subscription packages. Should I send you a link with our information about our subscription packages? No. Sorry. That was a mean question to ask. I know the city's not terribly concerned with the low wards, but this is a police station. Why is it so goddamn dusty? This facility is currently undergoing renovations. Since when? The 60s? It has been 22 months since the timetable was last updated. They really don't see a lot of action around here, do they? I'm sorry for any inconvenience you might have encountered. I'm adaptable. What about you? They're ever gonna fix that crack? Thank you for asking. It has not interfered with my work. Well, that's all that matters, right? That'll be all. Thank you. You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office, through the door to your right. Thanks. But I think it's just me for now, so you could go on break if you'd like. Automated defendants. Next case, it's just the automated defendant that we have to defend. Okay. Automated dependents do not take breaks, Morgan Counselor. Then what were you doing before I walked in? You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office. Through the door to the right, thank you. Ads don't get breaks, and they don't get my jokes. I will say that for people who may not know, I assume you know, but I shouldn't, because ads, automated dependents, are basically robots, except not AI. AI is illegal everywhere. There are smart UIs and stuff. Yeah, AIs, they do not want them. Datapads are stuff. newspapers, magazines think about Detroit Become Human stuff. How you read the magazines and that. Conductor resin is what we use to make the screens these days. Let's continue. But it's usually the humorless types that are the most fun to mess with anyway. Let's move on to the next scene if my computer decides to load. A cave opens. It does. Oh, this is Reyes. I have not decided on voices, but I sound bad or something. A voice. No, voices coming from down the hall. Compared to yours, probably. Thank God I stopped for directions. A building this empty, the desk could have just told me to follow the echoes. One voice sounds older, rougher, and decidedly low energy. I appreciate you worrying about me. God forbid I try to be serious. While the other rings with youthful indignation. It's not like a job is important or anything. Definitely cops. And at this precinct, at this hour, they might be the only two living, breathing people in the whole complex. 'Cause why else would you bother to print all that out? One document or 100. Looks the same on a data pad. Anytime you question a suspect, you need to have a heavy file in hand. Makes them think you know them better than their priest, their mother, their big brother. I wasn't gonna say that. So, how many of these sheets were blank then? No red carpet tonight, officers? Hello! Oh. Sorry about that, ma'am. We don't keep many extra hands around at these hours. Probably faster to let the desk handle intake anyway. But mostly cheaper. You're the lawyer? I am! Morgan, Esquire. Pleased to meet you. Same here, counselor. Kasim London, I assume, is how you pronounce that. Kasim London, May 5th is your birthday. You are tall. Homicide detective, first class. Photography, dive bars. Frequently running late. Yeah, that checks out. Bad cop. And the ball of sunshine here is my partner, Farah Reyes. Reyes. Farah Reyes. We check out Farah and her beautiful obsession with cars. Oh, wait, no, that's London. Hello, Reyes. Yeah, that's her. Love her. She likes automotive history. Automotive history? Not 100% on how you pronounce that. Okay. Ball of sunshine? She certainly is. Huh? Sorry if you were kept waiting. Chatter between the departments has been hectic all night. It's no trouble. Gave me time to enjoy my cigarette. Cigarette? Like tobacco? What are you, 80? She can't be more than a few years younger than me. We're the detectives in charge of this particular case. And it looks like tonight we're also your humble guides to the illustrious homicide department. Apologies in advance for any cobwebs. Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouses before. He never struck me as more than just some old-timer. But I suppose being an old-timer is an accomplishment in and of itself in this profession. Sunshine is definitely a new face, though. Rigid in her posture and in her attitude. 3 in the morning and her shirt still looks ironed. Freshly promoted, maybe? 2 whole detectives working at these hours? Sounds serious. Unless you were just the first to arrive on the scene? No, we're not nearly that timely. Uniforms responded with... The uniforms... Okay. Uniforms responded to... Uniforms? He's American, I've decided that now. Uniforms responded to the emergency calls within a few minutes. Calls, plural. Must have been quite the commotion. Look around. Look around at how lucky we are to... Okay, I will shut up. Every time it comes up, I'm like, look around. Look around. You think we're the first ones to arrive for anything? She's not wrong. We were only tapped after circumstances at the scene indicated involvement with an ongoing investigation. Our ongoing investigation. Not very subtle, is she? But I may as well bite at this point. So, you suspect that a client of mine is involved in some separate criminal activity? Wait, did they really not? No, I guess they wouldn't put it in a public defender's briefing. Look, consider this a little professional courtesy. A fair warning, yeah? That's the heartbreak killer in that room. And we got the bastard dead to rights. I don't know what dead to rights means, actually, but I will... Context clues. So if you if you're kind, you'll help him plead it out. And if you're smart, you'll pass this shitstorm on some other night owl and go back to bed. I'm not feeling particularly kind, cannot speak, kind or smart at the moment. So perhaps in the meantime, you'd be so polite as to fill me in about this heartbreak killer. They cover utilities at the rock you live under? Is there a problem? You're seriously not familiar with HK? Never heard of him. I've heard enough of him for a lifetime. That name has been plastered all over the city for weeks. Whoa, what is happening to the music? Oh god. Hello? Okay. Their crimes wavering between breaking news and urban legend. Their presumed goals flip-flopping from unadulterated anarchy to unappreciated vigilantism. At street corners, in the media, on the net, everyone's indulging in the exact kind of armchair detective speculation that I can't stand. But right now, I need to figure out exactly how much the police do or don't know. And when it comes to cops, I always get results playing dumb. Oh, sorry. And when it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart. Sorry, don't know what happened to the music there. But I guess we could say it added to the ambience. And it sounded terrible, but you know. I take it he's a repeat offender? Was it the killer part that tipped you off? You must have at least heard about this MO. The media has gone crazy with it, along with everyone else. One bullet straight through the heart. Body left to lie where it falls. Hence the name Heartbreak. Heartbreak. Date of birth unknown. Height unknown. Weight unknown. Blood type unknown. Occupation criminal. Likes killing. Dislikes getting caught. Fav color probably red. I love this. This game can be really funny when it wants to be. Not exactly creative, but amidst the swirl of every other 100-word article out there, catchiness trumps originality. What you won't read about online is that all 6 of HK's victims were shot by the same gun, without even needing to reload. Horrible to say, I know, but 6 for 6? That's pretty good shooting, isn't it? Hitting the bullseye at a shooting range is good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great. But shooting 6 people with accuracy like that? It's a whole different beast. It takes a certain kind of monster, a real freak. His pulse probably didn't even rise. I see. I would say that it sounds robotic, but I've already done that, so I'm gonna do the other one. That's a pretty terrifying thought. I should really start paying more attention to the news. How I managed to miss 6 murders. Oh, that's a shame. So all that does is make you skip, like a lot of dialogue. That sucks. Well, I didn't save, so guess we're going with that. Well, you can only blame yourself for missing 5. Pardon? You're still not getting it? HK's 6th victim was found a few hours ago, when we caught the son of a bitch red-handed. So you're convinced that my client is the heartbreak killer, and tonight was just his latest crime. That's a serious accusation, with very serious consequences. I take it you have serious evidence to back that up? I was being literal, counselor. Red-handed? When we found your client, he was covered in her blood. Well, that's not good, is it? What you say certainly sounds compelling. Is that lawyer talk for open and shut? But even if that's the case, how does one crime scene make him look good for 6 murders? It's all there in the discovery files, and the ARCs, of course. Join the local net on your phone and we'll turn over everything you need. I'll bet. Thanks for that, detective. I'll be sure to read it over. But if it's all the same, could I ask you two some questions while I've got you here? The hell kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives? This kind of attorney. You're just that pleasant. Come on, sunshine. Not like we're gonna be punching out anytime soon, right? Whatever. Let your clients do an interrogation all night, for all I care. You mean the counseling quarters? We're at your disposal, counselor. Okay, let's observe. Inspect. Barren, stark, and uninviting. This must be Reyes' desk. Keeping your workstation neat and tidy is admirable, but I can't spot a single mode of personalization. Is she so new she hasn't had time to unpack? Or is she really that uptight and boring? Huh? Both, maybe. She is so done. You shouldn't have cleaned up so much just for a little me, Detective London. Someone really needs to introduce this guy to a filing system, or even just a stapler. Paper documents scattered about lazily, alongside actual photographs. Either he's really old-fashioned or really paranoid about data leaks. And he doesn't look like the paranoid type. Well, orderliness aside, some things are better in paper. I'll give him that. Better on paper! Typo! Oh, I don't know. Is it a typo? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's see what else. Loose wires, missing panels, an aircon system that probably sweats more than the people it's supposed to cool. No room in the budget for making the office not look like shit, huh? I expected to find a lot of belt tightening in homicide, but I didn't think their operation would be this bare bones. They've got a stunning clearance rate, and they work fast. Guess the city sees that and just assumes their job is easy. Maybe their job is easy, but with our dear doting surveillance state eliminating so much of the footwork. But if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. I did not. Wait. Let me do that again. But if your wheels don't But if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. So homicide ends up as the only state department with a shrinking budget. A dumping grounds for the police force's most unambitious and least popular. A Datapad! Latest noble androids receive warm welcome. Yeah, Noble's warm androids. They have blood. Oh, they don't have blood. But whatever. Dr. Asher! Hello! We'll see more of you in episode 1. Hey fam, looks like you're not logged into this device. Want to put in your account info so we can help you keep reading? Yeah. He's always been reclusive, but he's become a genuine hermit in recent years. Are we really to believe he's still... Well... Why would you cut it off there? Want to know more about him? You found the Turing solution, yeah. The game's world building is so cool. He's in the news again. It's no wonder. Can't spit without landing on a piece of noble tech these days. Especially not with the states involved. Don't know if they'll bite when it comes to warm androids though. For government use, they're just too frail. All androids undergo wear and tear, especially if they're directing traffic or suppressing crowds. So if these warm androids bleed pink all over themselves every time they take a rock to the cheek, oh my god. It's just an endless stream of bad photo ops waiting to happen. Okay. Nothing else jumps out at me around here. I've got a better idea of who I'm dealing with, at least. Now we need to check out the crime scene data. I should have been sent a link. You've been granted access to state files regarding case KL433511. Reply C to confirm. Confirm. You need to reply C in order to confirm. Am I talking to a person? I am an automated dependent. Ads are usually more polite. Our personalities are tailored to suit our users' preferences. So the state likes you to be a little authoritarian. You need to reply C. C. It's case sensitive. C. Thank you. Link. Alright, if I project from my phone... Whoa. The Unity logo. No. Alright. It's crime scene time. Ooh. The arcs. Alright. What have we got here? Alright. Let's see what the police have. And what they think is important. Ooh. Spoilers. Yes. A stand-up mirror, shattered and knocked over. Real glass. No screens or cameras here. It was hit hard. Hard enough to come unattached from its arm, while shards of glass were scattered. Far enough to land on the victim's body. What a mess. No, leave the body and the gun for a bit later. Doom. Seems like this vase, it's a vase, isn't it? Seems like this vase got tossed aside at some point. And yet there's not a scratch on it. Must be pretty damn durable. Isn't art supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement. What is that thing? Can I inspect it? No. Guess we're inspecting the gun. The murder weapon. A revolver. Found right next to the body. 6 empty casings found in each of the 6 chambers. Very old. Meaning the gun's been fired 6 times. Looks like the crime scene techs practically disassembled the damn thing. But all they found... were fingerprints belonging to my client. So, he was found by the police with the murder weapon right in front of the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly prejudicial would be an understatement. And the body? The victim's body. Cause of death, ballistic trauma. Class 4 blood loss, atrium and aorta. Single gunshot wound to the heart. In brief, death was instantaneous. Oh, let's check out our evidence. Yeah, we got all that. Great. You know, revolver has Flat's fingerprints. Flat's the defendant. Autopsy report. Is this somebody's notes? Yeah, ballistics match. Okay. No injuries anywhere else, and no blood or skin under her nails. I wonder why we would expect there to be blood or skin under her nails. Maybe a sign of a struggle? I would not know. Blood spatter, forensics, and all the other good stuff tells them she was shot from here. So the killer was standing in the doorway when they fired. That's all the big ticket items. What about the security? Looks like the apartment was unlocked all night. It's not uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this. But no signs of forced entry, only hurts my client's case. What about the rest of the room? There's not much else flagged here. Just a lounge chair that got thrown and whatever that is. Unidentified ceramic debris? Flag is irrelevant. That's their technical assessment? I hate THTHT. That's rude. As a non-native English speaker, I found that rude. That's their technical assessment? There we go. Guess even the crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Let's see. Debris. Wow. Flag is irrelevant on next pass. Okay. That's everything the police highlighted. But did I miss anything? Nah, let's wrap it up. I'm kidding. Of course we're gonna check out this. What the hell is that? Something in the victim's hand? How the hell did... It's just a pill organizer. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Whoa. Looks like some immune adjusteds, NSAIDs, and triprexisone, a synthetic glucocorticoid medication. We good? Triprexisone, a synthetic glucocorticoid medication. Taken daily to reduce rejection symptoms like phantom pain and generalized itch. The autopsy said her tox screen was clear, but it's not like it matters. She could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city and it still wouldn't change the cause of death. It's odd, but ultimately irrelevant. Everything else here is all very incriminating, but the kick is everything that's not here. No out-of-place DNA, footprints, crumbs, which are basically cookies, and every device has Street Pass on it as I believe Aloha on a different channel has eloquently put. Nothing that points towards anyone except my client. Well, I've done more with less before. But not much more. If it loads, we will see. I really have to sing for my supper. Yeah. I'm really gonna have to sing for my supper this time. Better get started. Who the hell's messaging me at this time of night? The first person who comes to mind is... I suppose it could be something important. Red. What? Couldn't wait until morning? Good news, of course. I got a job for you. That's a pretty cheery way to tell me you violated parole. Well, no, not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my tracks. This is something different. Kind of thing I can't handle with just a keyboard and a phishing scheme. I need you to sue my gym teacher. Not that kind of lawyer. Sorry. Hey, at least let me finish. What did they do? Make me run laps? Not illegal. Let me finish. They made me run laps, even though I said I had a stomachache. Said. Gotta be like youth endangerment. depraved indifference or some kind of shit. Sounds like you've already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time. What's with the blow-off? Nice phrasing. Oh wow, I'm laughing so hard right now. See? It's me. Is that your mugshot? I wasn't gonna not get a copy of my mugshot and use it as a reaction. Glad you found a use case. But I'm working right now, so anything cool? Homicide. Oh, cringe. Wait, what kind of homicide? Is it HBK? Is that the kind of morbid things kids your age talk about? Teens my age? And yeah, we can read. Compared to the corruption in the headlines. Old-fashioned murder like HBK is like quaint. It's not Outbreak. Then why'd you take the job, lol? You see the 98% conviction rate as a challenge or something? You taking up lost cause, pro bono's work? It's pro bono. Which I did not know until I looked this up. But that makes sense. It's, you know, for goodwill and stuff. Not charity, but whatever. That was autocorrect. You know they give lit homework for a reason, right? This is borderline concern nagging. Maybe you really are a bleeding heart. Or just a sucker. Hello? I'm not a sucker. Nice phrasing, lol. You should go to You should go to bed, Fran. Tomorrow's Sunday. I can stay up if I want. Tomorrow is Sunday. Because today is Saturday. What's with the carpe diem shit? It's nearly 4 AM, kid. You got school in like 3 hours. Ooh, school starts at 7 and they have school on Saturdays. That's terrible. Shit. Repeat offenders may be good for business, but that kid's bad for my blood pressure. Important text message, I take it. Just your typical teenage drama. So then, if you wouldn't mind filling me in on a few details. Sorry. Oh, I can still ask about androids and cops. I was worried I wouldn't be able to, because I didn't pick the option asking about androids earlier, but let's do that then. By the way, I couldn't help but notice that you're light on staff. It's 3 in the morning. Were you expecting a parade? I thought there'd at least be a few androids around. Aren't many androids in any police station this week. Not while Brass is renegotiating contracts. Contracts with Noble? Good guess. Hardly. They're the biggest robotics core there is. Could spend all day in the city center without leaving their office's shadow. Yes, we're very fortunate to have them headquartered here. Saves us some money on shipping, at least. But these talks never last that long. I'm sure they'll be back to writing checks for Noble ads by the end of the month. Even with Noble pushing those warm androids. Warm, yuck. Might as well call them the adult line. Might see him in the bigger departments or out on patrol, but not around these offices. Warm or cold, there's no such thing as an android detective. Yet. Ooh, I like this one, I think. Guess we should be expecting those any day now. Maybe android lawyers too. Get some android politicians and we'd have the full set. Get real. People might like ads who do what they're told, but they despise ads who tell them what to do. I'm not so sure. Cameras, sensors, satellites, we already get all our facts from machines. Give it a few more years, it might make sense to let the machines do the investigating too. the union would. The police union wouldn't let that happen. She needn't have specified. It's the only real union there is anymore. The future, everybody. I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. It's very hot still. Okay, I'm gonna wait until it's a bit colder. Okay, details. So, how about the basics? What exactly has my client been charged with? Your client, Carlos Baker Flat, was arrested on the scene at 9:50 p.m. Let's check him out. Hello, Flat. Charged with first-degree homicide. Using his middle name already. They really do think he's a serial killer. The charge being the first-degree murder of his girlfriend, a Miss Diane Dawn. Hello, Miss Diane Dawn. Victim. First degree. That's increasingly rare, to say the least. It's rare for us to get handed anything with crimes of passion around here. City's got damn near more cameras than people. So you gotta be really, really stupid to try and get away with murder. Well, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times. So what's that make him? 5 times? And that makes him insane. I was gonna go with extraordinary. Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. But nut jobs like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead. So what makes you think this was premeditated? How about the fact that he stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up? A warm-up? 5 previous bullets, 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields. Weeks of digital autopsies crawling up and down their online profiles. It's a digital autopsy, I don't remember that one. Oh wait, not hair. It's... Alright. They looked them up on other people's socials and stuff, and on their own. Nothing. So this serial killer chose his victims at random. If they have nothing in common, yeah, nothing in common at all. Other than that they all look like cousins. The physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims were young women with brown hair and eyes, about the same height, comparable weight. Well, those features aren't exactly uncommon. Couldn't it be a coincidence? If you really believe that, you should quit your job and start buying lotto tickets. HK's got himself a type. Anyone can see that. Why are we assuming this is a man? Whatever. Yeah, I know why. Do I know why? Whatever. You're really gonna try and tell me you don't see the resemblance? A young woman, brown hair, brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from a portrait, but I can take a hint. So, you think, what exactly? That Carlos Flat wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly, he went out and shot 5 other women first. Hey, if the shoe fits. If the shoe fits? Then you put the shoe on the... Huh? What Sunshine means is that it's not uncommon for killers to displace their violence from people close to them onto outlets with fewer consequences. Drifters, loners, strangers, workers. Why was that in italics? He was probably building up the nerve for tonight by practicing on these other similar women. Or he's just so far gone he can't tell the difference anymore. Ooh, a little bit of a British came in there. Or whatever, my normal accent, I suppose you could say. It's not really British, I don't know. It's not the worst theory in the world, but it doesn't fit. They want to claim that those previous victims were practice runs. dress rehearsals for tonight's main event. But if that were the case, there'd have been signs of hesitation, nerves, there'd have been mistakes. On top of which, Gonza and personal execution shots even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart. Okay, I think I can sip my tea now. I can, sort of. Killing your girlfriend or her lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile. If you ask me. Morgan. Alright. Timeline. I saw the time of death was 9 PM on the autopsy, but do you have a timeline for the rest of the night's events? Can't trust much of what comes out of his mouth, but we managed, thanks to less biased resources. And we're pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statements. So they interviewed witnesses? Sounds eerily similar to real police work. They suspect the suspect and his girlfriend were arguing loudly with one another, starting around 8 PM. Neighbors were very clear about that part. Couldn't wait to tell us about the happy couple's domestic problems. Everyone in the building knew they'd been fighting for weeks. As you probably gathered from what you saw in the arcs, there was a struggle. Furniture turned over, glass shattered, but things go quiet sometime before 9 PM. And then there's a gunshot. Scrubbers are still scrubbing. Scrubbers are still scrubbing, looking for audio from the area to get a timestamp. But we heard from enough concerned citizens to be pretty darn sure about the time. Right. Emergency services got a burst of calls from the block shortly after 9 PM. No one seemed to recognize the sound for what it was, but the silence that followed was pretty universally alarming. Officers arrive on the street at 9:08 PM, establish a perimeter, enter through the open front door at 9:10 PM, and they find your client crouched over his dead girlfriend, his hand covered in her blood, at which point they move to secure the scene. And the suspect. Sorry, did you say his hand singular? Your client's modded cybernetic right arm. Right, we know what that is. Oh wait, no, let's check out the coat. Yes. Left sleeve, blood on left sleeve, makes sense. Where's the, is it in the reading list? No, it's in such terms. Yeah, mods, basically modifications to the body robotically. Great. How modded are we talking here? Registered with a HAL 85 Habilis. Industrial grade, looks like. Says he's spec'd for dexterous manipulation of up to class 4 kPa. Kilopascal? No, that's not Pascal. Sorry. Which means a minimum grip strength of... Well, basically, he could crush your neck without even gritting his teeth. Then why would he use a gun? Considering a career change? No, it's not that. It's just... Your eye must be very sensitive for you to try and put back the... What? Your eye must be very sensitive for you to put the patch back on every time. Let me grab a sip. And here I thought you just had a 14-year-old sense of fashion. You think a cop would cover up her dominant eye because it was fashionable? I actually thought the same thing the first time we met. You what? But, getting back on track. That arm of his has been in the shop for some time now. You can't work a day without it. Money got tight. The arguing? Yeah. When did he put his arm in for repairs? 8 days before accents. 8 days before HK's first victim was killed. Well, No way they'll be willing to chalk that up to coincidence. Your client was arrested on the scene after a preliminary scan found his fingerprints on the revolver. And no one else's. A revolver? What kind? The old kind. The real old kind. More specifically, a Calver M54. 6-chambered, 10mm. Calver? How retro. So it's a company that doesn't exist anymore, basically. You don't know the half of it. We're talking steel chamber, real gunpowder, mechanical firing pin, and no tags. No tags? How is that? Just how old are we talking here? Yeah. 24/7 location data, timestamp trigger pulls, safety is coded to owner biometrics. For the past 3 decades, tags have made shooting crimes very unambiguous. So you're claiming my client used some kind of antique to commit these crimes? How else do you think he'd have gotten away with this 5 other times? If he tried to buy a gun legit, he'd probably fail the very first sight check. And even jailbroken pieces are only good for so long before update withdrawal sets in. So then, M54, that's model year 2054. A 30-year-old gun. Well, that sure complicates things, doesn't it? In some ways, sure. But pre-tagging firearms are rare. Gotta be less than 1,000 of them left in the whole country. Fewer still compatible bullets. The ammunition would have to be over 30 years old too. The novelty of this weapon has kept us in the dark so far, but now that we have our hands on it, it's gonna put him away for good. Archive departments complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig. But with the protocols they found, the techs were able to match the rifling marks on all 6 bullets to the gun your client was found with. That was a tough line. Let me drink. Rifling marks? Bullets fired from guns that are old are marked by the barrel shape. So if all 6 bullets had the same rifling marks, we know they were all fired by the same gun. It's not as plug and play as the tags are, but it's equally precise science, I assure you. And if that's not damning enough, the spent casings from the other 5 shootings were still in the chamber, without even needing to reload. The Calver your client was found with is the gun HK used to kill 6 women. No way to lawyer around that. An untagged gun. Just being anywhere near a pin like that could warrant your arrest. Being found by the police over a dead body with an untagged gun used at 5 other crime scenes is just... To summarize then, you believe that my client found... I will go again. You believe that my client fought verbally, then physically with his girlfriend, and then he retrieved this weapon and shot her. Yeah, pretty much. How do we look when the officers found him? Guilty. How was his effect? Quiet, detached, stiff. Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner. That reaction may have lost some points with the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. And so long as the police are suspicious of you, there's no right way to grieve. Hot break. Checking my phone here, and I have to say, you've done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of HK's crimes a secret. What did I just get? Heartbreak killer. Hey there. Looks like you're trying to search for a term related to an ongoing investigation until authorities have made a finding. Okay. Yes, we know. The internet is also part of the authoritarian state. Great. The less reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics trying to piece together a story. Yeah. Top 11 Theories on Who Hurt HK was a real weighty read. Sorry. It's not just journalists, though. All kinds have been emboldened. The freaks that HK's managed to bring out of the woodwork in just a few weeks. Can you blame them, though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are an endangered species, but he's gotten away with. We know what he's gotten away with. Take a look around us, detective. National DNA registry is robust enough that cases never go cold. Cameras in every street, a phone on every citizen. Violent crime at an all-time low and clearance rate violent crime at an all-time low and clearance rates at an all-time high. But you're gonna spout some alt-pol bullshit about invasion of privacy? No, I'm not. People are safer now than at any other time in history, detectives. So when someone like Heartbreak does come along... Good point. London's trying to look like he can laugh it off, but pressure from the higher-ups must be reaching its peak. They want, maybe need, to see someone charged. And that makes them predictable. Yeah, well, even if there's nothing standard about HK, Department SOP still dictates we starve the media for case details. That way, when we do feed them, they're grateful for the whatever scraps they get. But we can't take all the credit this time around. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place. And why is that? Because none of the shootings were caught on the opt-in crime surveillance system. How is that even possible? I know that there are some rough areas in the lower wards, but Optics is watching every other street in the entire city. So this is basically other companies, private surveillance companies, they opt in to give their data to the government for, you know, investigations and things of the like. So it's basically private CCTV, kind of. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera once? You think we'd have let him kill 6 people if we did? I understand your concern, ma'am, but Op6 is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance systems signing up to feed into the state's security network. It's not perfect, just another one of the many public safety tools under our belt. It's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to help us solve crimes, or at least act as a deterrent. One would hope so. Fat chance. Deterrents off of raw rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this couldn't care less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions. It's like a safety blanket, one with very few holes left in it, but it does have holes. Patching up those remaining holes takes effort, and that effort usually means rebooting the system. There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved, but the end result is that there are occasional localized blackouts. And the math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict. I see. But those windows of opportunity are small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You need to be involved in law enforcement, pub data, or city planning. They'd have mentioned it if my client was a cop, and he wouldn't have needed a public defender either. His file says he's modded for heavy mass manipulation, not tech interfacing, so that just leaves city planning. So, does he work construction for the city? HK's only ever struck at times and locations where optics will be down. Even with the devil's own luck, it can't possibly be coincidence. Wait, so you're saying when this woman was killed, yeah, there was a blackout from around 8 to 9 tonight. Right on schedule, so to speak. and it included the area surrounding the victim's apartment. Well, what about DNA from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match? There's been no blood, no saliva, no suspect DNA at any of the crime scenes. No footage and no forensics. Also, no motives, tampering, or witnesses. It's been like hunting a damn ghost. We didn't even have a murder weapon. Until now. Finally, a lucky break for the boys in blue. Scanners, cams, drones, forensics. No matter how you dress it up with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. But HK is the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. Only reason we even caught him tonight was because he finished what he had set to do all along. Always keep an eye out. So, was my client on the list of suspects before tonight? Weren't you listening? There was no list of suspects. We questioned some exes, a few Suis. Someone even spoke to one or two enlisted at some point. What are enlisted? They come up in every chapter, but I have no clue who they are, I wonder. Unlisted YouTube videos, no. Nothing came of it. There was talk about starting some kind of psych eval or something, but I never expected much to come of that. There's just not enough there to work with. In other words, the only thing they could have to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. Tea finished. Yay. If I can jostle that keystone, then the rest of their case should start to come loose as well. Thanks for the chat, detectives. I think I understand the background well enough now. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints isn't pleasant. But even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think? Hey, it's only our job to catch the bastard. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly gonna have to work hard to convince anyone of his guilt. And why is that? Because we found a handwritten confession at his desk. Oh, well, that's not great. Well, that's, unexpected. I'm sorry. You're now telling me that he wrote a confession. Has it been verified? Not yet. We have to muscle past everyone in fraud and disinfo to get to the front of that line. Why bother? The note's covered in his fingerprints. There's a copy in the discovery data, but I should warn you. It doesn't exactly make for light reading. I'll have to manage somehow. I need to see this confession for myself. What should he sound like? I don't know. I didn't come up with this. I thought I wouldn't come this far today. I guess he can also have this accent, but sorry for everything. I can't say it enough. Didn't mean to hurt you, do what I did. Did not want any. Oh wait, we don't have to read this. Did not want any of it to happen. Can't stay in control when I get mad. When I'm not in control, I hurt people without meaning to. Wish I hadn't broken them. Didn't mean to at worst. But I was hurting. Wanted you to hurt too, but I didn't want to hurt you. Words aren't enough, I know that now. I'll take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. Please forgive me. I don't know how that sounded. That was difficult to read. Barely legible, in fact. Oops, okay, what did I just say? Well, gotta spin on that. No need. But it's a confession. Not a confession that he signed, though, is it? Not yet. And not one he intends to sign anytime soon, considering that he asked for representation. Yeah, the most wanted man in the city asked for a lawyer, and got you. Guess you're both lucky. Hardly. I just happened to be awake when the call went out. But I'm not so flush with work that I can afford to turn tail now. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go and speak with my client. What? He's not still handcuffed in there, is he? Look, counselor, with all due respect, we have strong evidence pointing to that man being responsible for 6 murders. 2 hours or so in handcuffs isn't cruel or unusual, and that's for your safety as well. It's kind of you to worry, but I doubt I'll be in any danger. He's killed 6 women. None of them were redheads. Seriously, though, I'd like to speak with him alone now. Camera's off, if you don't mind. Mic's on or off is your call, counselor. But we'll be watching the feed from right outside, in case anything happens. And the cuffs? The cuff, that is, stays on. That worried about me? How chivalrous. Yeah, my armor's practically blinding. Gross. I'll start up the unlock cycle. Counselor, just one last word of advice. If you have any interest in his well-being, I'd suggest you help him sign that confession. Not a bad idea. I do get paid either way. But the defense part of defense attorney isn't just for show, detective. I mean it. 6 people dead is one thing, but he's also caused weeks of widespread terror and public unrest. Putting it another way, he's made the state look bad. That's a capital crime, if there ever was one. And even if the death penalty is not actually on the table these days, I can guarantee he's not gonna like whatever rehabilitation plan they draw up for him. Look, I've seen the virtual work release program in person. It's... Wait, what is... Ooh, okay, so the last guy who did this, who got in this program committed suicide, so it's, not great, huh? Being challenged before the Supreme Court? Yeah, sometime in the next decade, maybe. Just remember, a plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but it keeps him from, well, that's probably a win for your client, right? Prison sentences are generally lighter for those who plead guilty, that much is true. It saves the courts a great deal of time and money, and they show their gratitude with a reduced sentencing. But no one will ever be grateful towards the heartbreak killer. Anyone convicted for killing 6 people, they'll never rest their mind another day in their life. 3:35 a.m., June 5th. Okay, so we're gonna talk to Carlos now. So I say we leave it off there for today. This is fun. I like this. I mean, like, I know what's this game already, but I'm really enjoying just going through it again and, like, voicing all the characters. It's so much fun. I enjoy it very much. So, yeah. I don't know. I may do this again if I have time. I hope so. In that case, this is episode 1. Episode 1, I guess. Great. That was fun. I like that. To be continued, I guess. Ooh, that sound is, looks like we're gonna have some drama soon. Yep, that's all. Thanks.